There is a small foil packet sitting in the cabinet under my bathroom sink right now. It cost about $2, maybe a little less depending on where you buy it. It looks like nothing, like a tea bag that got lost on its way to the kitchen. Once every 2 months, I fill a little plastic tray with water, drop that packet in, and leave my bathroom for 90 minutes while I make dinner, or answer emails in another room entirely. When I come back, the smoke has settled, and every single crack in that bathroom, the grout line behind the toilet, the seam where the tub meets the wall, the inside of the exhaust fan I cannot even reach with a ladder, all of it has been touched by something that mold cannot survive. That is the whole trick. That is the $2 answer. And once you understand why it works, once you actually see the mechanism behind it instead of just the result, you will never look at your own bathroom the same way again. My name is Judah Chan. I lived in Japan for 6 years, in 3 different apartments, 2 of them older buildings with plumbing from a different decade and water pressure that never quite matched what the landlord promised. And in 6 years, I never once scrubbed black mold out of a bathroom. Not once. Before that, I lived in a rental back home with a tiled shower, the kind with white grout lines running between every tile, and I fought that grout for 2 straight years. I bleached it. I scrubbed it with an old toothbrush on my knees on a Sunday morning. The smell of bleach still in my nose hours later, my knuckles raw from pressing into the same corner over and over. I bought the spray that promised to keep it away for good, the one with the confident label and the before and after photos on the box. Within 3 weeks, the black would creep back in, first as a faint gray shadow along the edge, then as full black lines you could see from across the room, right on schedule, like it was running on a calendar I never agreed to. I thought I was just bad at cleaning. I thought maybe my bathroom got more steam than most, or that my landlord had used cheap grout when the place was built. I was wrong on both counts, and it took moving to Japan for me to find out why. Here is what nobody tells you when you are standing there with a spray bottle and a toothbrush, scrubbing the same 6 inches of grout for the 3rd time this month. The mold is not winning because you are cleaning wrong or because you are lazy about it. The mold is winning because of what is happening inside that grout line, where your scrub brush can never actually reach, no matter how hard you press or how long you scrub. Grout is porous. It is basically hardened sand and cement, full of tiny channels too small to see with the naked eye. And once water and soap scum get down into those channels, a sponge and a spray bottle are only ever cleaning the surface. You can scrub the top layer white again and again on a Sunday morning, and the mold sitting a few millimeters deep, feeding on soap residue and skin cells and warm, trapped moisture, barely notices you were ever there. That is the part that broke my brain a little when I finally understood it. Standing in my old bathroom back home, picturing all those years of scrubbing in a completely different light. I was never actually cleaning the mold. I was just trimming it back like a weed, leaving the root exactly where it was, ready to push back through within the month. Quick word before I go further. The old methods my family uses, there is more of it than fits in any one video. I gathered the whole of it into a book you can buy in our pinned comment below. The book is the long version. If you want it, it is there. I will not mention it again. So if scrubbing harder was never going to fix it, what does a Japanese bathroom actually have that mine did not? The answer split into 2 parts for me, and the first part genuinely surprised me. Most Japanese homes, especially anything built from the 1970s onward, do not have a tiled bathroom at all. They have what is called a unit bath, one continuous molded shell, usually a fiberglass or acrylic composite, formed and installed as a single piece for the walls and floor, and sometimes even the ceiling. There is no grout because there is nothing to grout in the first place. The whole surface is one seamless piece of plastic, heat sealed at the joints, with almost nowhere for water to sit, and almost nowhere porous for mold to grip onto to begin with. My Tokyo apartment had one, right down to the molded soap dish built into the wall itself. My friend's place in Osaka had one too. It is closer to standing inside a molded shower stall than standing inside a tiled room, and once I actually looked closely at mine, I realized I had never once seen a true grout line in any bathroom I lived in over there. Here is the part that matters more though, because I know most of you watching this are not about to rip out your bathroom and install a Japanese unit bath this weekend. Plenty of older buildings in Japan, the ones from before this became standard, still have tile. Public bathhouses still have tile, sometimes floor to ceiling, decades old, with grout lines running everywhere. A Western bathroom would have them too. A friend of mine in Osaka lived in a building from the 1960s with a fully tiled bathroom, real grout, real seams, nothing molded or seamless about it at all. I stayed there for a week once and went looking for black mold out of pure curiosity, because by then I already suspected something else was going on. I found none, not a trace, not even the faint gray shadowing I used to get within a month back home. So there had to be something else at work, something that had nothing to do with construction, and that is the part I actually want to show you today. The expensive fix is tearing out your whole bathroom, hiring someone to install new panels, spending a small fortune on a renovation most renters could never even get permission for. The real fix, the one that actually works on the tile you already have, on the grout that is already there, costs about $2 and takes 90 minutes of your time once every 2 months. That contrast is the whole reason I am making this video instead of just telling you to move. The counterintuitive truth is this. Japanese households are not cleaning their bathrooms more than we do, and most of them are not scrubbing on their knees any more often than we are. They are reaching mold in places a sponge was never built to reach, using a method most Western households have simply never heard exists. Let me walk you through exactly how this works, because there are really 3 habits stacked on top of each other, and the third one is the $2 trick I opened with. The first one I call the squeegee reflex, and it is the simplest habit on this list, which is exactly why almost nobody outside Japan bothers with it. In a Japanese household, the last person to bathe does one more thing before they leave the room. They take a rubber squeegee, the kind you would use on a car windshield, and in about 20 seconds they wipe every wall, the mirror, and the floor completely dry. You can buy one at any 100-yen shop for close to $1. It sits on a little hook by the door specifically so nobody has an excuse to skip it. Here's the trick that people miss, the part that took me embarrassingly long to notice on my own. Mold does not need hours of standing water to get established. It needs sustained dampness, and a bathroom left to air dry on its own can stay damp for 4 or 5 hours after a shower, sometimes longer in winter when the room never fully warms up. 20 seconds with a squeegee cuts that window down to almost nothing. You are not cleaning the room. You are just taking away the one thing mold cannot live without, which is time spent wet. The second one is the fan, and this is where most Western bathrooms quietly sabotage themselves without anyone noticing. Most fans over here are wired to the light switch. The fan runs while you shower and shuts off the second you flip the light off on your way out, right when the room is at its most humid. A lot of Japanese bathrooms run their ventilation fan on a separate switch entirely, and in plenty of homes, that fan runs on a low continuous setting for 24 hours a day, every day, whether anyone has used the bathroom or not. Some newer units go a step further with a dedicated bathroom dryer, a small heater, and fan built into the ceiling that can actively dry the whole room down in under an hour instead of leaving it to evaporate on its own overnight. The same unit doubling as a way to dry laundry indoors during the rainy season when nobody can hang clothes outside for a week at a time. The trick here costs you nothing but a light switch. If your bathroom fan is tied to the light, find the breaker or the switch and see if you can run it on its own for even 2 or 3 hours after every shower. Mold needs the humidity in that room to sit above roughly 60% to really take hold. A fan running an extra 2 hours is usually the difference between staying under that line and sailing right past it. Now here is the third habit, the one that actually reaches the mold hiding down inside your grout, where the squeegee and the fan can never touch. This is the $2 packet I showed you at the start, and in Japan it is called a bukabi kunenzai, which just means an anti-mold fumigant. You will find it at nearly every drugstore and convenience store in the country, usually sitting right by the bathroom cleaners on a shelf most tourists walk straight past without a second glance. And a single application runs somewhere between $2 and $4, depending on the brand, and whether you buy it as a single or in a pack of 3. Once every 1 to 2 months, you clean the bathroom properly first, because this product does not remove existing mold. It only prevents new mold from taking hold. Then you fill the little plastic tray that comes in the box with water up to the marked line, drop in the foil packet, and leave the room immediately, sealing the door behind you. For the next hour to 90 minutes, that tray releases a fine smoke carrying silver ion particles, and because it is smoke and not spray, it drifts into every single crack in the room. It gets down into the grout lines a sponge could never reach. It gets behind the toilet, up inside the exhaust fan housing, into the seam where the tub meets the tile, places you have probably never cleaned in your life, because you cannot physically get a brush into them. When you open the door again and let the room air out, you have just treated every hidden pocket of moisture in that bathroom at once, in a single hour, for less than the cost of a coffee. I want to be honest about something here, because I do not want you thinking this is magic in a foil packet. This will not pull existing black mold out of grout that has already gone dark and stained. If you have got mold sitting in your bathroom right now, staring back at you every morning while you brush your teeth, you still need to scrub it out first, the old-fashioned way, with a bleach-based grout cleaner and some elbow grease, and probably a Sunday morning you would rather spend doing anything else. What this changes is everything that happens after that scrub. Instead of the mold creeping back within 3 weeks the way mine always did, you are starving it before it ever gets started again, in the exact spots your cleaning routine was never reaching in the first place. That is the entire difference between fighting the same 6 inches of grout every single month for years, which is what I did for 2 years straight, and doing one 90-minute treatment every couple of months and never thinking about it again. Here's the bigger picture, because I think it matters beyond just how your bathroom looks. Mold spores in a bathroom do not stay in the bathroom. They travel on the humid air every time that door opens, drifting into the hallway, into bedrooms down the hall, riding on the same air your kids breathe while they brush their teeth. If anyone in your house has allergies or asthma, a bathroom that is quietly growing mold behind the toilet or under the tub rim is doing more than making your grout look bad. It is a small, steady source of the exact particles that make breathing harder for the people you live with, every single day, whether anyone notices it or not. There is a relationship side to this too that nobody puts in the cleaning videos. Black mold in a shared bathroom is one of those quiet, recurring arguments in a lot of households, whose turn it is to scrub it, why it keeps coming back, no matter who does the scrubbing, the low-grade resentment of a chore that never actually stays finished. Taking the mold out of the argument entirely, because it simply stops coming back, removes more tension from a house than people expect. And there is a money side too that nobody talks about. I used to buy a new bottle of mold spray every month, plus bleach, plus scrub brushes I wore down to nothing within a season. Add that up over a year, and it is not far off from what half a dozen of those $2 packets would have cost me, except the packets actually worked and the spray never did more than buy me 3 more weeks. My grandmother used to say that the cheapest habit is always the one you do before the problem shows up, never the one you buy after. I did not understand what she meant until I stood in that Tokyo bathroom 4 years running without a single black line anywhere in sight. So here is what I want you to actually do tonight. Go look at your bathroom fan and figure out whether it is tied to your light switch or not, because that alone tells you how much extra drying time your room is missing every single day. If it is tied to the light, see whether there is a separate switch behind it. A lot of homes actually have one already wired in, and nobody ever flips it. Then, this week, pick up an anti-mold fumigant. Some hardware stores and Asian grocery stores carry the Japanese brands directly under names like Bukabi Kunenzai, and if yours does not stock them, search for bathroom mold fogger or mold fumigant online. The same silver ion smoke-style products exist under a few different Western brand names now, usually sold in packs of 2 or 3 for well under $10 total. Give your bathroom one proper deep clean first, the old-fashioned scrub with a grout cleaner, because the fogger only prevents, it does not remove. Run the treatment, seal the door, and set a reminder on your phone for 2 months from today so you actually keep the habit going, instead of doing it once and forgetting, the way most of us do with anything that does not show results the very next day. That is it. That is the whole system. No new tile, no gutting your bathroom, no weekend of construction, just 20 seconds with a squeegee after every shower, a few extra hours of fan time you were already paying for in electricity anyway, and one $2 packet every couple of months. Tell me in the comments what your bathroom mold situation looks like right now, whether it is a light gray shadow you have been ignoring or full black lines you have already given up fighting, and let me know if you already own a squeegee or if tonight is the night you finally add one to the hook by your shower door. I read every comment, and I want to know how many of you had no idea your bathroom fan was even wired to your light switch until right now. Next time, I want to show you the one thing sitting in almost every Japanese kitchen sink that keeps drains from smelling the way ours do. A trick involving nothing but hot water, one ingredient you probably already have in your pantry, and a piece of equipment most people throw away without ever realizing what it was actually for. It works in about the time it takes to boil a kettle, and it costs even less than the packet I showed you today.